Hello, welcome to this quick talk on a topic, a question that is on everyone's lips. Can you listen to music whilst you revise, or should you? Um, and the answer, I'm happy to tell you, is a resounding yes. However, there's a but. It's a yes, but. Yes, however. All right, first up, no lyrics, then you can understand. Actually, I mean, no lyrics is even better, right? Like, just like no instrumentals is fine. But if it's in a very foreign language, you don't understand that works as well. The reason for this is that there's a bit in our brain that it's like, an area, the Broca area and the Wernicke area, like a specialized area of the brains that process language. And when you are revising, you are essentially like through your eyes working with language. And so your brain needs to focus on the language that's coming through the eyes and not be distracted by the language that's coming through the ears. This is why when a teacher shows a slide with text on it, they should never be speaking at the same time unless it's read the text. It's also the same thing, like I'm sure you've all been on school trips where the teacher is trying to count the pupils, and then as they go 1, 2, 3, 4, I think you approach the teacher and you start like telling them numbers like 74, 45, 33, because like when someone gives you different numbers, what you're trying to count, it puts you off. It's the same principle, right? So yes, but no lyrics. You want to be focusing on your geography thing, not on Stormzy's bars or Dua Lipa's metaphors. Anyway, rule number two. Now, that's not a rule, it's more like a suggestion, but if you use dedicated music that you only use to revise, your brain will associate that with work. So, I was talking to Miss Korea, and she's very old school, and she said classical. Yeah, and classical, like, it's more about like creating an atmosphere that will set your mind in the right frame. You can also do that with scented candles and like dressing a certain way. It's all about kind of like tricking your nervous system, tricking. It's all about training your nervous system to associate certain cues with revision, with work, with exams, right? That's why I don't understand why you're not sitting your mock in the uniforms, because you will be sitting the GCSE in your uniforms. Now, ideally, you should be revising at home in your uniforms, but that's probably a bit much. Right. So, for instance, I'm a big fan of Lo-Fi Girl, the lo-fi hip-hop beats to relax slash study too. However, you need to choose one, right? Because if those are your relaxation beats, you don't want your brain to associate lo-fi beats to relaxation when you're trying to study to them. So relax slash study, actually choose one. Third point, there's actually some special ADHD or focus music or indeed sounds. Sounds a bit loose on this one. If you type ADHD focus music on YouTube, you get a whole bunch of stuff. I quite like some of them, to be honest. It's sort of like electronic, abstract. They've got weird like polyrhythms where like the music kind of never repeats, and like the notes like don't fall. There's patterns that kind of keeps that distractible side of your brain busy on that bandwidth, and that allows you to focus on what's in front of you. There's actually even slightly more advanced stuff like binaural beats and isochronic tones. Now, there is actual science on this. The point is, if you feed 315 hertz in one ear and then 325 hertz in the other ear, you will hear woo, 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 like when you're tuning a guitar and the strings are almost at the same pitch. That woo, woo is called beating, and then it beats, like the frequency of the beating is the difference in the frequency, and that allows you to effectively expose your brain to low frequencies, like between kind of like say 3 and 20 hertz, which are the general frequencies of your brainwave. So you can try and put yourself in a beta state or an alpha state, like one of those when you want to focus. There's also kind of like delta and theta, which are lower frequency when trying to relax or fall asleep. Isochronic tones, same deal, but it doesn't need to be stereo because the kind of like the rhythm is in the tone itself. Again, look this up; it's quite interesting. Finally, it doesn't even need to be music. I am very partial when working in this, like, I will say, neurodiversity hostile staff room, given the amount of noise there is in it. I've got my noise cancelling headphones, and I've got a website called My Noise, mynoise.net. They have apps for Android and iPhone. They've got a whole bunch of like various type of pink, brown noise generator. You can have sounds of rain, sound of waves. There's different faders. It's kind of animated and always changes. That's just a way of just keeping your brain and your sort of auditory nervous system like busy, and particularly for a noisy environment. And I recommend, and it's interesting because it's in the ADHD section, on My Noise there is this one, examination time, and it's actually the background noise of an exam hall. So when I show this to my sixth former, One of them was like, I'm going for this all the way. To be honest, he was already into his isochronic tones and binaural beats, so kind of on the same page on this one. But he said he's going to train himself and revise to the sound of the exam hall, so that when he comes into the exam hall and gets the sound of the exam hall, his brain is just going to get the right signals to put it in the right frame of mind. So just like use this. Music is not just music. What you put in your ears is a tool to maximize the results you want with your brain. All right, Galaxy Brain, listening to music while working, just your regular brain. Now, instrumentals or foreign language. Next step up, using dedicated work music that you associate to working and studying, using maybe binaural beat, isochronic tone, special polyrhythmic ADHD music, who knows? And then finally, revising to the sound of the exam hall itself. I mean, that's clearly top level.